What if I tell you there is an SMG in the game that can output 30 million DPS, and that's with expertise level 0. Many people might not know this, so I'm gonna bring this to you guys and let you know this beast of a weapon that can shred your enemies with such a high DPS. Hey, what's up everybody, welcome back to one more Tom Clancy Division 2 video. I appreciate you guys coming back. If you enjoyed this video, a like on it would be super appreciated. Subscribe for more, and yeah, let's get into this. Sticky bomb. One is done. And that's it. Yo, they get shredded. That was quick. Was that like 3 minutes? It's gotta be like 2 to 3 minutes on that control point. So the weapon that we're gonna be discussing today is gonna be the tactical Vector SBR 9mm. Now currently we have 3 different variants of Vectors in the Division 2. Now usually a weapon, they have different variants, but usually they are the same when it comes to damage, RPM and mag size, but not for the Vector. So these 3 Vectors are: the first one, the tactical Vector SBR 9mm, which comes with a 42.3k base damage, an RPM base of 1200 RPM. Now on this build, they all gonna show 1380 RPM because of the build. The base mag size of this Vector will be 19 bullets on the mag. Second, we have the Vector SBR .45 ACP. This one is the fan favorite, I would say, because this is the one that most people use, and this one actually has a named version, which is the Dark Winter. It comes with a base damage of 40.4k, and you can see that's a little bit less damage than the tactical Vector. But this one has a little bit of more bullets on the mag. It comes with a base mag of 25 bullets. And then the third one, we have the Vector SBR 9mm. This one has the lowest damage per bullet of all of them. It has a base damage of 37.1k with a higher mag size of 33 bullets on the magazine as a base magazine. So if you talk about only the base stats of these 3 weapons, you can see on the list of the SMGs on the Division 2, the tactical Vector will be on the #1 spot, highest DPS SMG in the game. And then the Vector 45 ACP comes in second right after it when it comes to the DPS, burst DPS, and you can see the Vector SBR 9mm all the way down, way under the top 10 when it comes to the base DPS. But keep in mind also it has the highest sustained DPS. So for this video we're going to be focusing on the one that has the highest DPS, burst DPS in the game, which is a tactical Vector SBR 9mm. So with the core attribute of SMG damage obviously and critical hit chance that comes on the SMGs, on the attribute I would recommend going with the damage to target out of cover. The talent that we're going to be using on this Vector will be the In Sync. This one will give us a total of 30% weapon damage after you have the whole talent active. For the mods, I went with a 5% crit chance with the mini reflex sight, a 5% crit chance with a laser pointer, a 5% crit chance with the suppressor, and last but not least, the extended 9mm mag, which is going to give me another plus 20 rounds. Now for skins, I believe some of you might ask what skin is this. So this is the Cyber Blue skin that comes specifically for the tactical Vector. I believe this one you had to unlock it from the season pass 9 or 10, I believe. I don't quote me on that, one of those. So if you don't have it unlocked, you can buy it on the store. Now this Vector is one of the strongest Vectors in the game, and also one of the strongest SMG in general in the game when it comes to burst DPS. Even though it has a short mag, you can actually shred your enemy so fast that the mag doesn't matter. I even shredded 2 enemies one after the other on one mag, so 39 bullets. With that said, that is possible with the right build, which is what I'm gonna show you guys on today's video. With this build, you are kinda a glass cannon, even though we're not using the glass cannon talent, but you are kind of a glass cannon because you don't have a lot of armor, but you have a lot of damage. Now you could put some armor, like choose like 3-core attribute armor and still do a lot of damage, but your DPS will go down a little bit. I believe it can drop down from 30 million all the way to 25 million DPS, which is still a lot of damage, right? So if you don't feel comfortable with this build that can shred but has a less survivability, you could go with a little bit more armor and still shred with this build. So this is gonna be the build that we're gonna be going on this video. So starting off with the specialization, we chose to go with the specialization, the gunner. Now for few reasons. Number one reason, honestly, it's gonna be this one right here. Even though we don't have a lot of armor, I like having this talent, the instant. Killing enemies grant 10% armor on kill. So that's gonna help a little bit of armor on kill for this build. And then another one which is really important and is gonna give us a boost to our DPS and RPM is gonna be the barrage. Rate of fire increased by 5% on kills for 5 seconds. Now if you take a look at the Vector on this build, the Vector has a reload time of 1.7 seconds. So if you kill an enemy, even though you reload, you still have about 3 seconds to put plus 5% RPM boost on your weapon. Now obviously we are running 4 pieces of the Striker gear set. We have all of them core attribute weapon damage with the attribute critical hit damage. It's gonna be the backpack, the gloves, the knee pads, and also the chest piece. So you guys know that the Striker gear set gives you some pretty good buffs. So starting with the 2-piece, we have that 15% weapon handling. And weapon handling is something that you actually shouldn't be sleeping on. Weapon handling basically gives you reload speed, accuracy, stability, and weapon swap. Now by equipping 3 pieces of a Striker gear set, you gain a 15% rate of fire increase. Now the Vector itself has a base RPM of 1200. Now if you add a 15% buff increase of the RPM, we're gonna have 1380 RPM. And last but not least, by equipping 4 pieces of a Striker, you have this talent Striker Gamble, which is a weapon damage increase for every hit on your enemies, which is a total of 100 stacks. Now by equipping the chest piece, right, you have an extra talent which is a press advantage, which is going to increase that stack from 100 to 200 stacks. And also we have the backpack talent, which is the risk management. That's gonna increase that weapon damage per hit. That's gonna be from 0.65% to 1% per hit. So combining the backpack and the chest piece on 4-piece Striker, we're gonna get a total of 1% weapon damage per stack, all the way to a total of 200 stack, which translates on a 200% potential weapon damage on your build. For the rest of the build, we have the Coyote Mask. This is an exotic and comes with a talent, the Pack Instincts. This talent will give you a 25% crit hit damage from 0 to 15%, and then from 15 to 25 meters you gain a 10% crit hit damage or a 10% crit hit chance, and then last but not least, from 25 meters and beyond you get a 25% crit hit chance. Now we're going to be focusing on that 0 to 15 meters, which is what we want to use a SMG for, close range. So with that said, we're gonna add that 25% crit hit damage to this build. That's gonna allow us to hit that 30 million DPS. Now last but not least, the last piece will be on the holster. We have a Circle of Concern. Pretty simple. By equipping 1 piece of this, you gain a 10% SMG damage with the core attribute weapon damage and attribute crit hit chance and crit hit damage. And then last but not least, for the skills that I'm using on this build, there is only one that is important in my view, which is going to be the Striker drone. Now, the reason why I use the Striker drone, it's because of the talent that I'm using, the in sync. So basically in sync, you need to use a skill to do damage, and also you need to use your weapon to do damage to activate that total of 30% weapon damage and skill damage. So with the Striker drone, it's gonna help me to keep that in sync going, and also my drone is gonna be hitting 30% harder with the in sync of my weapon. So that's why I like using a Striker drone with the in sync talent. The second skill, whatever you want to use in here, I do recommend the Crusader Ballistic Shield because we are quite squishy. So sometimes on enemy's face you might need to pull it up just for that, not taking so much damage or getting hit. So I have the Crusader Ballistic Shield in here, but that's not necessary. You could use anything else. So taking a look at the stats, we have a total of 101,000 weapon damage. For the PvP side of things, we have 33,000 crit chance. We have 58% crit chance, which is not necessary. We could go with 50%. And then for crit damage, we have 153%. Now that's before we get that 25% of the Coyote Mask. So with that said, after we get the Coyote Mask activate from 0 to 15 meters, we get a 25% crit damage increase. That's gonna put us at 178% critical hit damage. So if you take that 30% from the in sync, just the weapon damage, 101,000 weapon damage that I just showed you, but the in sync, it will increase that weapon damage because it's an additive damage. So after that, you see we have before the in sync 26 million DPS, but after we add that 30% for the in sync, we are gonna get that 29.9 million DPS, which I call it a 30 million DPS. Now remember, I said we're gonna have another boost for our RPM, which is a 5% from the gunner talent, right? So right now we have 29.9 million DPS, right? If we add that another 5%, that's gonna put us at 20% rate of fire, right? So if we click that, our DPS technically on those 3 seconds or 5 seconds, whatever you want to call it, that's gonna be a total of 31 million DPS. So yeah guys, that's all I have for you guys today on this video. Let me know what you guys think of the tactical Vector down below on the comment section below. What is your favorite SMG? You don't have to use this Vector. I'm just telling you what is one of the strongest Vector. But let me know what is your favorite SMG. For me, actually, is the MPX. And yeah, let me know yours. So with that said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit me with a like, I would appreciate. Subscribe for more Division 2 content, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Hostile supply convoy nearby.